Hi, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm just going to reflect on my challenge in the month of February, which was to write a new song every single day and make a piece of content to go with it for Instagram. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Ferguson. I'm a percussionist based in Edinburgh, and I mainly specialise in Brazilian folkloric percussion and song styles, from samba to bossa nova to maracatu and all sorts of stuff in between. So, let's address the why to begin with. Why did I do this to myself? Honestly, I'll never really know. To kind of try and summarize it and make it as brief as possible, I felt really out of touch with my own creativity after the year that we'd all had. And I just wanted to challenge myself to leave my comfort zone a bit and challenge my music writing skills and my video making skills at once. So making a new thing every single day felt like the right drive, and the focus was more the music, but in my eyes, when I was creating it, the video was just as important as the piece of music I was making at the time. So this year, it is my focus to release at least one song out this year. And so I felt, well, maybe making music and getting to the habit of making music every day for a month will help that process along a little bit, you know? The main outcomes I was striving for was to build creative momentum, have 28 finished pieces of work at the end of the 28 days, and to develop my skills in song making and video making. So let's talk about my process. I'm going to talk about this a little bit, but I can share more if you want. Let me know in the comments down below. But essentially, I would get up in the morning, and as soon as I would finish breakfast, I would be here in my studio space, just playing with whatever I can. Sometimes people I live with were on night shift, so they were asleep in the morning after a long night of work, so I had to kind of make do with the bits and pieces I had and using MIDI stuff until they would wake up in the afternoon. But my overall deadline was to finish and upload a song, or have a song ready to go by 3 p.m, 3 in the afternoon. Part of that was just because that's when, looking at my Instagram analytics, that was the best time to post. In general, I just worked with the first idea I had and just went with it. As soon as I had an idea that I thought, okay, this can work, I would use it. And even if that idea didn't work in the end, I would use whatever I could out of that and make something out of the kind of the salvage, if that makes sense. So I had 30 seconds, because that's the maximum length for a reel, to tell a story in music, which was difficult and even more of a constraint, which was good because it helped push my creativity further forward. I experimented with a lot of different things that I could in my software, either EQing or elements of production, applying different sounds to natural percussion, using samples and loops that I'd bought, and even delving into things like color grading and like video editing, 2 Jordans at the same time, which seemed to go down pretty well for whatever reason. It's a bit of a gimmick if nothing else. More often than not, I had the video in mind. Sometimes before I would write the song, I'd think about what it is that I wanted to play around with my editing software and reverse engineer that to make a song that would work with it. So what happened in the end and how did it all go? Well, I managed to do it every single day, which I did not expect to actually be able to do. There are lots of little things that I kind of deem failures in my own way, but that's totally subjective from me and putting my own high standards on myself, not being kind enough to myself about that. But I put out something every single day, which was the main goal. None of these were by any means perfect to what I wanted to do, but a few of them were really close to being like work. I'm genuinely proud of the whole catalogue and like in context, but as far as like having music to then release, there's a lot of work that needs to be done for all of them. And I think there's definitely some songs out of that I can use, which is great. So I learned a lot of practical things and a lot of kind of more holistic, creative, making art stuff. Some of these lessons are not new and things that I've heard before, but actually having experienced them myself now, or caught myself experiencing them, I guess, here are some of the things that I learned from it. It's a bit cliched at this point that creativity is a muscle, and the more you use it, the easier it gets. In the space of 28 days, I would agree that that is the case. The first week was kind of using old ideas that I had in my head. But typically, the whole process from start to finish got so much quicker and so much easier every time, which is good. Even as I was challenging myself each time and trying new things, I kind of relearned to do it for myself. I think to begin with, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this for myself. And then analytics got involved. And then I would start to value the art that I'd made because of the analytics, which really sucks. Like, it really, really sucks. I try not to do it, but there's so many available, and it's just good to know how you're doing. And they're so prevalent as well. There's one video in particular that I'll put on screen now, where I put it together really quickly and I was really stressed out making it and just didn't think too much about it. I didn't even think about the hashtags, like the things that push out your reels to other people and other posts on Instagram. Didn't really even think about them too much, and somehow the video got like 1,000 views in an hour, which has never happened for me. Like, I'd never had 1,000 views on an Instagram video, period, never mind within an hour, and for something I didn't really think super strategically about, and that I wasn't the happiest with. But now I'm really happy with that, and that helps me appreciate the value of that piece of work, but it made everything else feel so much worse because everything else was getting like a quarter of the attention from it. But that was fine, and some of the stuff that I posted I actually like more than that one in particular. It happened a few other times, but yeah, some of the least viewed ones are actually the ones I like the most musically. So yeah, it was kind of a reminder of I'm totally out of control of the value of this in the public eye. I'm out of control of the analytics. It's just what's presented to me, and I need to value the work for myself, not for the algorithm. And I guess the third thing was, yeah, it's definitely worth leaving your comfort zone to experiment with things. I would always be pushing myself to not do exactly the same thing, or not frame videos in exactly the same way, or not take things from exactly the same angle every time. There was once where I did try to recreate that 1,000 view thing. I was like, I didn't think I could recreate it. So I thought, let's see if I can recreate it, and it just didn't work, and that's fine. I had it proved that it couldn't work. So yeah, as soon as I would find myself into habits of editing or writing, I would immediately break them and go the opposite direction, but still using as much of the ideas as I can, but just reframing them entirely. And it produced much better results for me. So yeah, overall, it was hard and it was a challenge, which was sort of the point. I wanted to challenge myself. But it was incredibly worthwhile despite the trials and tribulations of it, whether it's you accidentally break your totally legit version of Logic, which I did, and then just ended up buying it after like 6 years of using Logic. That was painful. Even just the tribulations of a video not doing that well, or not getting many views, and dealing with that sort of stuff. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and give the video a like, it really helps smaller channels like this one. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye.